Hello beautiful people out there, I am Rahul and you are watching Half Mad Coder. In the previous video we have seen the basics of Dart. Now in this video I am going to teach you Flutter widgets. And when it comes to widgets, Flutter have three different types of widgets. First of all, let me tell you what is widget. In a Flutter app, everything is a widget. By the end of this module, that is this third module, the app we are going to build is this counter app, where we can press this plus button, it will increase the count, and we can press this minus button, it will decrease the count. And here in the board it is showing the current count. Okay, this simple app we will design by the end of this module. So let's come back to the widgets in Flutter. In this app, actually everything is a widget. This app bar is a widget. This text counter app is a widget. This white background and all, this whole app is actually a widget. This current count text is a widget. This 6 written in this board, this is also a widget which is changing its current state depending on the what we press here. And these buttons are also widgets, and the inside the button there is an icon that is also a widget. In much more complex app, like if we say calendar, if I want to make this in Flutter, then it is an image and it is also a widget called image actually, and this text is a widget, this text also a widget. These are very beautifully, these will be very beautifully aligned in this way when it comes to Flutter. And if I go next, everything can be built. Every UI you look in any app can be built using lots of widget. Okay, this button will be a widget. If I want to make this, or we want to make this UI in our app, then this button will be a widget. Under this button this text will be a widget, and this text will be also widgets. Okay, so for the time being, let us keep this app open, because this is the app we will be building in this module. And there is three types of widget in Flutter. One is stateless widget, another is stateful widget, and the third one is inherited widget. But in most of the times we will deal with these two widgets. Actually we may not use never this inherited widget until we are going to very deep into Flutter and we build our own package and all. Until then we will not use this inherited widget. So let that keep that aside. We will build these stateless widgets and stateful widgets, and using them we will build any complex UI of any app in Flutter. Okay, so what is stateless widget? Stateless widget is a widget where the state of the widget will not change, and stateful widget is a widget where the state of the widget can be changed. What do I mean by saying that? I mean, if I think that the whole app as a widget, then by pressing these buttons the state of this app is changing, like this text is actually changing. So the state of this widget is changing. And what is state? State is the current scenario or current state, actually the English word state is actually going very well in this while explaining the state. Current state of the app is called state, and when in some widgets that can be changed, like in this case, and in some cases we don't need any change, like when I just opened this calendar. In this page we don't want to change anything. We don't, something like if I press this button, I am redirecting to another page. I am not changing anything about in this page, but if I press this, I will redirect to this page. So in that page, if I scroll up, then some state is scroll up, then also any state is not changing. The state is keeping its state, so it can be built by stateless widget. But in some cases we need stateful widget, like in our counter app. When we press something, then it's changing its state. So these are states, like this text is a state. If some button is there and if I press that button, this text changes. That also we can do using stateful widget. So we will see. I am just giving you the abstraction idea what does those stateless and stateful widgets means. Okay, and now let us dive deep by creating a new Flutter app. So let me create a Flutter application next, and here we can give our app name as counter app. Let's keep those things as it is. We don't need to change those. If you do, then you can. So this is the sample app which has been created by Flutter team, which is already there by every other Flutter app. Okay, if I run this app, you will see an app with a blank white screen with a text. When I press the plus button, it will increase the count. We are basically building the similar app when not only the plus button is there, but also the minus button will be there. Here only the plus button is there. So let me cut all the code first. Okay, now if I want to use some predefined methods and classes, then I have to use some predefined packages from where we can import the things. For that we need to import material package. By importing this package, you are going to use a lot of things from there, like, and I have already told you, this main method is the entry point of any Dart program. So we just write main, and you can see this package is still in the color gray. This gray color means this package is not used anywhere. If I write something that is belongs to that package, like this run app method, this run app method is belongs to this package, so it turns into green, that saying that, well, you are using some of the methods coming from this package in your app. So okay, and what does this method do? We can press Ctrl and click over here to see the underlined code, but actually we don't need to see underlined codes. All we just need that, what does that method do? We just need to pass a widget here and it will build the widget in the screen. It is that simple. Okay, so what widget we will pass? For that we need to create a widget first. I have told you that we have two type of widgets, like a stateful widget and a stateless widget. Let me start with stateless widget. and this is a shortcut in Android Studio. If I write STLESS, it will give me a suggestion that new stateless widget, and if I press click here, then it will create my stateless widget. Let me give a name there like my app. Okay, and if I press tab, then this red box will be gone, and by pressing tab it will move the cursor to the here. Okay, now by this structure, let me tell you, this is actually a class we have built which is extending stateless widget, and you don't know what this extend means. Don't worry, in the next video I am going to explain all the detail of this extend keyword. This is actually inheritance. In the concept of object oriented programming, one of the most important parameter is inheritance. So inheritance means we are inheriting some properties from parent class. So stateless widget is a parent class. We are inheriting that class's functionalities to my app. And how that will work, we will go deep dive into that in the next video. So for the time being, let me think it as we have just created a class called my app, which is a type of widget of stateless widget. Of course, we can create also stateful widget, like by just saying stateful widget STFUL, and if I press enter, then Flutter will create me a stateful widget. We will go into the structure of stateful widget sometimes later when we will need it, but for the time being, let me show you the structure of stateless widget. Stateless widget, we don't need to know about most of the things, we just need to know about this. This is called annotation. This is saying that we are overriding method called build. This method is actually from stateless widget, and we are inheriting everything from stateless widget to my app class. So, and in here we are saying that we are overriding the build method of this stateless widget here. And what does the build method accepts is the context, and context is a big thing. You just don't need to know about context right now. When we will need, I will explain everything about context, and it is returning some widgets. Okay, and don't need to worry about this structure, because you don't need to write this structure every time. So don't memorize it. You just type stateless widget and it will automatically generate the code. So you don't need to memorize these things. Just you create a stateless widget like that. Okay, and my app. Okay, now here I can now create an object. In the previous I have told you how to create any object of a class. Like if I want to create an object of class my app, then I just can create my app, and this, by just writing this, we are creating a object of this class. And this is, as this is a stateless widget, so it is also a stateless widget. So we can pass, and run app actually expects an widget there. So we are passing my app widget here. Actually this is a stateless widget now. Okay, now here something called as material app. This is also comes predefined from this material package. You don't need to do anything here. Okay, you just need to know that material app is a root app we need to use when we build some app. Okay, and why we need to do so? Well, before telling you everything, I just need to tell you something I forgot in the previous lectures. In the previous lectures where I was teaching you the basics of Dart. Let me create a method int add and now if I press run, then you can see that 11 will be printed because it is passing this 5 over this A and 6 over this B, and this then it add those A and B like this 5 and 6, and then this returns to this int, and we are capturing that return to this res variable, and we are printing that res variable over here. This is how the program is working. There it is called positional argument. Like if I write 5 here, it will only pass to this A. It is not like we can write here 6 and it will pass to this A. It is not working like that. It is positional. Like how here the position is, you have to mention the variables value. Here when we passing the parameters, they are also in positionally. Okay. So there is another way to define those things, like if we enclose these things with a curly brace. Okay, here a curly brace open and here a curly brace close, and now it is throwing an error that too many positional arguments, 0 expected but 2 found, because we are not expecting any positional argument now, but we are expecting named argument. This is called named. We have to mention the variable name here, like B is what we are passing. And now if I run this, it will throw me an error because we are passing the value of B and we are saying that please add A and B, and we are not passing any value of A here. So how can it add 5 with something A having no value? So we can either define a default value here, and remember one thing, these when we enclose them with curly braces, this is called named parameter, and these are by default optional. Like you can pass any value and you may not pass, but in case of positional, all the parameters is must. Okay, so it is optional. And what now it will do is it will pass B's value as 5 and S default value here is 0, and it will add 0 plus 5 and returning 5, and we can obviously define A's definite value like 7, and if I now pass this, then it will print 12. Like we are passing B 5 and we are passing to A 7. Now it just add those A and B and returning those. Okay, why I just taught you right now those things, because these things also, these, if I press Control and click, then you can see this material apps constructor is full of this curly braces, full of you can pass like home, you can pass routes and all. Okay, so don't worry about this keyword. Actually whenever in the next video I will tell you about this keyword. Okay, so and you can pass like home here. Okay, and there you can pass container. And now if I run that app in this emulator, then you can see that there will be a black screen with nothing, because we have not defined anything concrete here. Okay, we are just saying build my app, and my app is returning material app, and material app's home is with container, and container holds nothing. So here let me pass, and when I will use this container, I will tell you in detail about container. So this is the structure of your app in most of the cases, starting structure of your app. From here we are going to build our app. Here up to here a black screen has been given by this structure. Now we have to build something here. And what does the material app widget do except this home? There is a lot of other functionalities we need to build an Android app. Those all things are given by this material app. So we will discuss about those things whenever we will need those, step by step. And now here we can pass scaffold. And now if I run the app, then you can see instantly that it turns into white, because now we are actually passing some widget, this scaffold, and in this scaffold there is nothing written and nothing is there, because we have a empty scaffold, because this opening brace and this closing brace, there is nothing. So that is why we are getting an empty blank scaffold. And this red debug, it has been written over here because we are just debugging, we are running the app in debugging mode. We can simply off that debug here in the material app and saying it false. So you just learned a thing. Material app has a lot of functionality like this home and this. There is a lot of other things in material app we can do. Okay, so we have just passed false. How? Because I have told you this int type, and then this double type, and then this string type. Now let me tell you another type, that is bool. Bool is a type, and if I create a boolean variable, it is called boolean. Boolean variable can contain just two things. One is true and another one is false. It is very useful when it comes to either this or that, like in this case, either show this banner or not show this banner. So if I say true to this, if I pass true to this, then it will start showing the banner, and if I false this, then it will start not showing the banner. And how instantly it is reloading over here? Because we, by pressing this button, we are just performing hot restart. We are restarting the app, and just change this to true, and by pressing this button and for pressing restart, you can see it took around 644 milliseconds. If I press this button, it will took very less than that, 270 milliseconds only to hot reload this. Hot reload works like thunderstorm icon as it is there. So it instantly loads the state of the app currently. So actually these two buttons are the same as these two buttons. This is hot reload and this is hot restart. Okay, now let me make it false. This is not necessary, but let me make it false for right now. Now in the scaffold I am willing to put something. I am willing to put a app bar here. So I have to define that. Scaffold has a lot of property like app bar. We can place an app bar here, just like in Gmail we have seen, just like in WhatsApp we have seen an app bar, and this app bar expects some preferred size widget, and we have a proper preferred size widget to define an app bar called app bar. Don't be confused, this is an optional parameter you can pass to scaffold, and this is actually a widget. Now if I hot reload this, then you can see this, and by pressing save, Ctrl S save, we can hot reload. For that we have settings inside this language and framework, Flutter, and here perform hot reload on save. That is why I am just pressing Ctrl S and it is hot reloading the app to this device. So by this we have built our app bar, and of course app bar is for now empty because we have not written anything inside app bar, and it got some default color. We can just change the color. Let me take a look here. What are the property it is expecting? Background color is the property, I think. Background color, and we can make like orange. Okay, if now I save, it will turn into orange, or we can make it deep purple, then it will turn into deep purple. So these are the things that much simple. Of course we can pass any hex color over here, and what is hex color and how can we pass those things we will see later. And inside the app bar, let me put something. There is a property called title, called text, and in title we are passing a text that counter app. And if you are wondering like how I am able to know that what is the property and what property should I call, there is a lot of property. Okay, so what property should I call? Then let me tell you that I will teach you all everything, and if you want to experiment your own, then you can of course go to flutter.dev, and actually not flutter.dev, api.flutter.dev. API means application programming interface. So here actually we are passing an app bar. This is API, and inside the underline code is there over here, a lot of code, like something around 1500 lines of code is there underlying to just build the app bar, and you don't need to write those 1500 lines of code. You are just writing 3 lines of code. So the API is something like the above layer, like what we are calling, okay, what we are calling to build the thing. So here you can search for all the APIs that Flutter provides this app bar class, and you can learn what this background color property, everything about constructor to properties. Okay, so in properties there is a lot of properties, and we can learn more about background color over here. Okay, like what is background color property does, and of course we can go these properties and we can search for any property. Okay, over here this is how we can learn. Okay, and don't worry if you lazy about reading all the documentation. I will teach you all the necessary things you will need to build any app on Flutter. So here is another, here in app bar there is another property called center widget, center title, actually title and center title. It also expects some boolean, whether it is true. If I pass true, then it will center the title. If I pass false, then it will not center the title. And now let me teach you some more how we will build the other things in the app in the next video. Okay, thank you.